Sal Paolantonio, ESPN senior national correspondent. He was out in L.A. for Super Bowl 56 all week long, and will give us a little bit of a wrap-up insight, what he saw, what he heard from SoFi Stadium as the L.A. Rams, Sal Pal, are your Super Bowl champions. How are you, friend?
I'm doing good, Mike Gill. Still out in L.A., avoiding LAX the day after the Super Bowl as much as possible. Going to fly home tomorrow. Great game, intriguing game. So much controversy wrapped up in one Super Bowl game. I don't know where to get started, but let's just talk about what you just talk about with Shereen Williams saying the vote has to be in 2 minutes before the 2-minute warning. I mean, everything we do is instantaneous now, literally.
Yeah.
So I don't know why the vote has to be in before the 2-minute warning. It renders it irrelevant because, listen, if I had a vote at the end of the game, obviously Cooper Kupp was electric and so productive and carried the team at times, and totally agree about Matthew Stafford, 15-play drive to win the game in the fourth quarter, a come-from-behind touchdown drive. He was terrific, 3 touchdown passes. But the MVP of the game was Aaron Donald, Mike Gill. Come on.
I agree. And I actually had a couple shekels down on a defensive lineman winning the MVP award. So I admit that I might be biased, but I have never seen a man wreck a game the way that he did. I mean, that tackle is reminiscent to Jones tackling Dyson at the goal line for the Rams the last time they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and you add a couple of sacks. I mean, you really have to go back to 1996. The late, great Philadelphia Eagle turned Green Bay Packer Reggie White destroying Drew Bledsoe and the New England Patriots. And if I'm correct, unless the touchdown return for a touchdown on a kickoff does not happen, that Reggie White would have been the Super Bowl MVP. Remember running around New Orleans with the trophy after the game in the stadium? I mean, that to me is reminiscent of what Aaron Donald did. Now, listen, I get a lot of people said, Mike Gill, a lot of people said that the offensive line of the Bengals was so poor that any defensive lineman close to Aaron Donald's ability would have wrecked the game. Okay, fine, but not to that degree, Mike. Just not to that degree. I just think the guy took the game over when they had to ice the game because Cincinnati was driving. There's no question about that.
Sal, you were with the Bengals all week. We talked Friday, and you kind of indicated that they're not, the moment's not too big for them. They're not allowing that to take over. They were very loose. What did you think of the game plan that they came out with last night? Did that suggest otherwise?
I thought it was a horrible game plan. I thought that Zach Taylor, the head coach, and Brian Callahan, the offensive coordinator, really did a disservice to their young quarterback, Mike. I mean, first of all, this is something that you and I brought up last week on Friday. I said, listen, the moment's not too big for them, but, and I said, big but, capital B-U-T, you got to block this Rams D-line. And if you don't have a plan to do that, then I'm not picking the Bengals. And, I'm taking the points. We took the points. I took the points. Johnny G took the points. We all took the points. And Vegas lost big because Bengals covered in the football game. But they should have won the game, Mike. Mike, come on. All they have to do is reduce the number of sacks from 7 to 5 or 7 to 4, and they win the game easily.
Oh, I don't think there's a question.
Sacked.
Yeah, 19 times he's been sacked in the playoffs.
Mike, that's just insane. He was sacked 7 times and lost the Super Bowl by 3 points. So the game plan was horrible. One, Mixon should have run the ball much more. They had, and when they ran it, was so obvious. They ran it on first down over and over again. And going into the game, I said this on Friday, Mixon had the number of rushes on first down, highest in the league. And they rushed on first down all game long, and the Rams were totally ready for it. Okay, so that they just ran right into the teeth of their own tactics.
Yeah.
2, you know who Brian Callahan is? Brian Callahan is the son of Bill Callahan, the offensive line coach who used to be with Ray Rhodes and the Eagles, head coach of the Oakland Raiders that lost to the Bucs in the Super Bowl. It's that Bill Callahan, who, in my view, is one of the top 5 offensive line coaches in all time in NFL history, certainly of the last 25 to 30 years. Brian Callahan is Bill Callahan's son, and he does not have a plan to block the Rams' defensive line. I mean, come on.
Well, I'll tell you what. And you mentioned Mixon. Were you surprised they gave the ball to P. Ryan on 3rd and 1 in the biggest moment of the game?
Totally.
Right?
Shocked. First of all, it's a horrible call.
Yeah.
Because if you run the ball in that instance, you definitely have to burn a timeout. So it was a horrible call. And, Mike, everybody knows that the left side of the Rams' defensive line has a 330-pound defensive tackle and a 316-pound defensive end.
Yeah.
You don't want to run at the left side. You want to run at the right side where Von Miller doesn't have that much girth.
Yeah.
He just doesn't. I mean, you should have been running at Von Miller all game long, double teaming him, wearing him out. I mean, I thought it was a horrible game plan, absolutely horrible. And I'll tell you this, Mike Gill, if I were Joe Burrow's dad or his agent or his grandfather or his brother or an ex-high school coach, I'd be on the phone to the Bengals front office saying, listen, this needs to be fixed. The kid got his knee detonated as a rookie because you couldn't protect him. Now he's been sacked 70 times, hit another 57 times, hurried another 100 times.
Yep.
It's totally insane. This kid won't last three more years. He may not last 2 more years.
I know. Well, I said it right in the beginning today. I said the first thing I do if I wake up and I'm Roseman this morning and I say, hey, I got this Dillard kid. I know you need some help. I'm not saying he's the best, but he's available if you want him because you need help on that line.
Yeah, well, I don't think Andre Dillard solves anybody's problems.
Hey, you can't,
I mean,
right,
yeah.
You can't fix all 5 spots in one, but if somebody's dangling a former first-round pick, you know, these coaches all feel like they can they're the guy that can get the best out of them, right? You know?
Okay, first of all, the first thing that has to happen, I don't know who the offensive line coach is of the Bengals. He needs to be fired. And so is the pro player, pro personnel guy, Duke Tobin, fire him.
Yeah.
He gets fired. If I'm the agent for Joe Burrow, I say, okay, here, we're going to go down a road of discontent. Joe Burrow's a nice kid. He's not going to say anything out of school. This is my job as the agent.
Right.
This is my job as a lawyer. I go in and say, this guy's got to go.
Well, let me ask you about, obviously this Bengals team is young. They got the quarterback young. The receivers are all, 27 and under. This is a young team. They can focus. They got money, and they can focus on that position this offseason, right?
Yeah, but it's so hard to get back to the Super Bowl, Mike.
Oh, yeah,
you know
right.
that.
Oh, absolutely. And look, that AFC, you got
especially the team
Mahomes.
especially the team that loses. Look at Kansas City. You just said it, yeah. They lost to the Bucs. Everybody thought they were going back. They had a miracle finish against Buffalo and then collapse in the second half against the Bengals team. I mean, it's hard to get back, Mike. Look at the Bucs. Everybody thought, Brady's going to go back.
Right. There was some key moments in that game. A throw by Matthew Stafford that will be one of the most memorable throws. Maybe, if people actually remember that game and say a play, the Cooper Kupp jet sweep, but the throw Stafford makes to Kupp really is a huge moment in the game.
It's a professional quarterback's throw where he looks the defender to his right. The defender vacates the spot where he wants to throw it to Kupp. Kupp goes into the open window. And Matthew Stafford, Ron Jaworski used to say to me, Sal, there's open and then there's NFL open. And you have to throw into anticipated windows. That's what separates real NFL quarterbacks from pretenders. And I'm going to tell you something. Matthew Stafford really played a great game yesterday. I mean, he really did. He lost his second primary receiver, OBJ, in the second quarter to a knee injury. It took him a while to figure out, listen, I got to go to number 10 over. and over and over and keep throwing it to him all the time. He's the best receiver in football. If they don't double him, they're idiots. I'm just going to keep throwing it to him. And he did that, and they won the football game because of it. So I thought he played a magnificent game. And it was a throw from Burrow on a third down that was dropped by Boyd. You remember that one?
Yep. I thought that was a huge drop in the game. And that was, I didn't realize that was his only drop of the season.
And it's unfortunate because this is a kid who really works hard, and he's been super reliable. He's one of the best slot receivers in the AFC, perhaps all of the AFC. And maybe second only to Kupp. Terrific player. And I just think it was just obviously a horrible moment for that to happen, a horrible moment for that to happen to Joe Burrow. And by the way, we gushed about Burrow before, but now, you have to put him in a different league. For him to take that punishment, get up off the mat constantly, then stand up in front of the microphones and say, we didn't get the job done.
Right.
We didn't get the job done. I didn't get the job done. Not point any fingers.
Oh, he's definitely different. And the talk, a lot of your coverage during the week, Sal, you're talking about how the teammates talk about him, the hits he takes, wins and loses, the facial expression never changes. He doesn't, he's just the moment doesn't change for him regardless of the magnitude of the game.
And it's reverential, but Mike, the people around him, the people in charge of his life, his lawyer, his agent, his father, those people need to speak up on Joe Burrow's behalf right now.
This is one of the interesting parts, not to sit here and blast the Bengals, but they haven't been a very well-run organization over the years, and you wonder how do they handle success in the front office and the ownership group?
Yeah, you've got 4 or 5 teams now in the AFC where, they're right there.
Yeah.
They're right there. The NFC's won the last 2 Super Bowls. They're right there. And you look at the Chiefs coming back against the Niners. The Niners easily could have won that Super Bowl over the Andy Reid Chiefs when the Chiefs came back in the second half. So they're right there, but, what it takes? It takes really protecting your quarterback. It's a theme that you and I have talked about on this show all year long. You've got pass rushers. You've got blitz tendencies now that are absolutely over the top in the NFL, and you've got to protect the quarterback. Look at Jalen Hurts, Mike. Look at Jalen Hurts.
And the fourth down play from Raheem Morris, they get pressure. Donald just blasts. He just absolutely whips his guy, and Burrow has no play to make. He just tries to wing a ball up. But the pressure they got from that side of the line was just unbelievable on that fourth down. Because I love what McVay said. He said, I know it was fourth down. He says, I was mic'd up. You could hear me. He said, it's fourth down. He's the bleeping man, and he's going to make a play. And sure enough, he did.
I thought it should have been the MVP, Mike.
Me too. I would have won some money. Sal Paolantonio, give me you're out there. The refs late in that game, I thought the refs let them play, and then they kind of got involved. Was that a story at all? Were people talking about that?
Yeah, oh yeah. They're still talking about it this morning.
Okay.
About how the refs changed their approach to the game at the end. But they whiffed on 3.
Yeah.
Not 1, not 2, but 3 major penalties. 1 on the T. Higgins 75-yarder, where Higgins grabs Jalen Ramsey's face mask. Right. It's obvious to a worldwide audience, and the referees whiffed on that. Then they whiffed on the false start on the Rams' offensive line on the final touchdown from Stafford to Cooper Kupp. And then
big time on that.
They whiffed on Donald. Donald was lined up off sides on the fourth down play.
Well, it's unfortunate, the play right at the goal line. I think it was Logan Wilson got called for, holding Cooper Kupp there. It was a little weak, man. I don't know.
Oh yeah, there's also that. Yeah. The referees can really influence the game. There's no question about it. Ron Torbert went into the game with one of the fewest penalties called.
Yeah, they did a good
and
job
that's
up
the
to
way
that
he
point.
called the game.
Yeah.
Huh?
They did a good job up to the biggest moments in the game. You let them play.
Yeah.
Some things they didn't, but man, that was one thing. And then, after the game, just, you're in L.A. Football's back in L.A. I mean, this is it. That was the first time the Super Bowl's in L.A. in what, like 40 years?
Yeah, it was great. And SoFi Stadium was magnificent. I got to tell you, it's a difficult venue to get to because of where it's located in Los Angeles, and you have to go through a lot of surface streets. There's no obvious off ramp to the 405 or the 5 or any of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought the police did a tremendous job, especially post game. But the stadium itself was elegant. It's spacious. The food was great. From the media standpoint, the press box was fantastic. They have stairs access so that people can get in and out of the stadium. I left the Super Bowl 2.5 hours after the game and got back to my hotel about 30 miles away in less than an hour.
Nice.
And it would have taken me that long to go from South Philadelphia across the Walt Whitman Bridge 2 hours after the game at Lincoln Financial Field. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, definitely.
But Mike, getting back to your point about the referees, as in life, in sports, anybody can do well when things are just routine. But when the critical situations happen, that's when you get paid the big money to make the right call, to make the right decision, is when you're faced with critical situations.
Yeah.
In any walk of life, that's true. The people who get paid the big money and are put in the position, okay, you're the referee of the Super Bowl. Why? Because in the critical situation, you've proven you have the experience and ability to make the right call. You're the quarterback of a team in the Super Bowl. Why? Because in the critical situation, you get paid the big money to make the right decision and the right call. It's not good enough in the second quarter that you get it right if you get it wrong in the fourth quarter.
Well said. Sal Paolantonio, another year in the books. Johnny G, the Burger Realty team over there in Ocean City. I know we look forward to these conversations, and the football season is now in the books. We do have off season and the draft. It's a very important one for Howie Roseman and the Eagles. We'll try to catch up, leading up to the draft and stuff, but I guess it's time to take a little time off, man.
Yeah, I will. Thanks to Johnny G and the Griner team at Burger Realty in Ocean City for supporting my appearances on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill. I look forward to it. I look forward to our conversations, Michael. What you do on that show is the best in the business, in my view. And, I encounter a lot of people in sports talk radio all over the country. Nobody is better than Mike Gill. Nobody. And I say that from the bottom of my heart. I thank you very much for a great season. Thank you to all of the listeners of your great show and your radio station all over South Jersey, along with Jersey Shore, all the way down to Delaware. And I got to tell you, I get great feedback from people all over the place about being on your show, and I look forward to joining you again, Mike. Thank you so much.
All right, Sal, we will catch up down the line, get a little rest, and get ready for 2022. The big Eagles season will be here before we know it.
Okay, my brother. Thank you.
Thank you. Sal Paolantonio, ESPN senior national correspondent, and you only hear him right here on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN.